Welcome to Coins News Daily. This tiny quarter could be worth more than your monthly salary. Are you holding it right now? One rare Washington quarter just sold for thousands, and it still looks totally normal. Don't spend that Kennedy $50. It might secretly be a hidden treasure. 99% of people miss this detail on rare US coins. Don't be one of them. Learn what to look for, which years matter, and how tiny details can turn pocket change into big money. Subscribe, like, share, and comment below. Thanks with love for watching. Top 1. Today we are diving into a coin that looks ordinary at first glance but hides a story that stretches across 2 centuries of American history, mystery, and serious collector value. If you have ever seen a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy $50 in your pocket change or in an old family drawer, you might have held something far more special than you realized. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you may start looking at every coin differently. The 1776 to 1976 Kennedy $50 was created to celebrate the United States bicentennial, marking 200 years since independence. Unlike regular coins that feature a single year, this one carries a dual date, instantly making it stand out. On the front, you still see John F. Kennedy's portrait, calm and dignified, while the reverse design was changed to a striking image of Independence Hall. That alone gives the coin historical weight, but history is just the beginning of what makes some of these coins incredibly valuable. Now here's where things start getting interesting. Millions upon millions of these coins were produced. That means most of them are still only worth face value or slightly more. So why are collectors willing to pay serious money for certain examples? The answer lies in rarity, condition, composition, and most importantly, errors. Let's talk about composition first. Not all bicentennial Kennedy $50 are the same. Some were struck for general circulation using a copper-nickel clad composition. But others were minted in a special 40% silver version, intended for collectors. These silver coins were never meant to circulate widely, yet some still ended up mixed into everyday coinage. If you happen to find one, it already has a higher baseline value simply because of its silver content and limited release, but composition alone does not make a coin truly rare. Condition plays a massive role. Coins that were never circulated, often referred to as mint state coins, can be worth many times more than worn examples. The difference between a coin that has been handled for decades and one that has remained untouched is enormous in the eyes of collectors. Sharp details, strong luster, and no visible scratches can push a coin into a completely different price category. Now let's move into the part that excites collectors the most: errors. Mint errors are where ordinary coins turn into extraordinary finds. These mistakes happen during the production process, and when they do, they create unique variations that can't be easily replicated. Point 1 of the most sought-after errors is the double die. This occurs when the design is imprinted twice slightly off alignment, causing a noticeable doubling effect on the letters or numbers. On a bicentennial Kennedy $50, this can appear on the date, the lettering, or even Kennedy's profile. If the doubling is strong and clear, collectors go crazy for it. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not properly aligned during minting, resulting in a design that is shifted to one side. The more dramatic the misalignment while still showing the full date, the more valuable the coin becomes. It turns a standard piece into something visually striking and rare. Then there are clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is literally missing due to a mistake in the cutting process. These coins have a curved or straight missing section, and they immediately catch the eye. Authentic clipped coins are highly collectible because each one is unique. You also have coins struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a Kennedy $50 design appearing on a coin meant for a different denomination or even a different metal. These are extremely rare and often fetch high attention at auctions because they represent a major minting error. Let's not forget about proof coins. These were specially made for collectors using polished dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish. Bicentennial proof coins, especially in silver, are already desirable. But if you find one with deep cameo contrast or any unusual variation, its value can increase significantly. Now picture this. Somewhere out there, in a forgotten coin jar or passed-down collection, there could be a bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar with a rare error, pristine condition, or silver composition just waiting to be discovered. That's what makes coin collecting so addictive. It's not just about money, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the connection to history, and the possibility that something small and overlooked could turn out to be extraordinary. Collectors also pay attention to mint marks. These small letters indicate where the coin was produced, such as Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Certain mint marks combined with specific conditions or errors can create highly desirable combinations. Another factor that adds to the intrigue is how these coins were distributed. During the bicentennial celebration, people saved them as souvenirs, meaning many were never circulated heavily. However, not all were preserved carefully. Finding one today in perfect condition is much harder than you might think. As you watch this, imagine going through your own coins, checking each detail carefully. Look at the edges, the shine, the alignment, the tiny features that most people ignore. Because in the world of coin collecting, the smallest detail can mean the biggest difference, and now, the moment you've been waiting for, the real market value and auction potential. A standard circulated 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar is typically worth around 50 cents to a few dollars depending on condition. A 40% silver version can range from around $5 to $10 based on silver content and condition. High-grade uncirculated examples can reach between $20 and $100. Proof silver coins with strong visual appeal can sell for around $50 to $200. Error coins, depending on the type and clarity of the mistake, can range from a few $100s to several $1,000s. The rarest and most exceptional examples, especially with major errors or near-perfect condition, have reached auction values of over $10,000. So next time you see a bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar, don't just pass it by. Take a closer look. Because hidden in that small piece of metal could be a story, a rarity, and possibly a small fortune waiting to be discovered. Top 2. We are diving into one of the most fascinating hidden treasures in American coin collecting, a coin that many people have seen, many have spent, but very few truly understand. This is the story of the 1986 D. Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance but carries layers of history, mystery, and in some cases, surprising value. Imagine holding a coin that connects you directly to one of the most iconic figures in American history. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, shortly after President John F. Kennedy's assassination, and it quickly became more than just currency. It became a symbol, a tribute, and a collectible. By 1986, the coin was no longer made from silver for circulation, but that does not mean it lost its importance. In fact, for collectors, certain coins from this era became even more interesting because of their subtle variations and hidden rarities. Now let's focus on the 1986 D Mint mark. The D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities producing coins for circulation in the United States. In 1986, millions of Kennedy half-dollars were struck in Denver. On paper, this sounds like a very common coin, something you might expect to find in pocket change. But here is where things start to get interesting. Even though the mintage was high, not all coins are created equal. Condition plays a massive role in determining value. Most 1986 D half-dollars entered circulation and experienced wear over time. Scratches, dull luster, and contact marks reduced their appeal. However, coins that were never circulated, known as mint state coins, can be worth significantly more. The higher the grade, the more collectors are willing to pay, but condition alone is not the only factor. Let's talk about errors and varieties, the hidden secrets that can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Error coins occur during the minting process. These can include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or even striking issues that affect the design. While not every 1986 D coin has an error, those that do can be extremely desirable. One of the most talked about possibilities with coins from this era is doubling. This happens when the design is impressed onto the coin more than once in slightly different positions, creating a visible doubling effect on letters or numbers. Collectors carefully examine the date, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust" to spot these subtle differences. A strong doubling error can dramatically increase the coin's value. Another factor that makes certain 1986 D Kennedy half dollars stand out is luster. Original mint luster gives a coin that brilliant shine, almost like it's glowing under light. Coins that retain this natural brilliance, especially with clean surfaces and sharp details, are far more attractive to collectors. Eye appeal matters more than many beginners realize. Two coins with the same technical grade can sell for very different prices simply because one looks more appealing. Let's also consider strike quality. Not all coins are struck with the same level of detail. Some may have weak areas where the design did not fully transfer from the die. Others may have exceptionally sharp details, showing every line in Kennedy's hair and the eagle on the reverse with stunning clarity. Strong strikes are always more desirable and can push a coin into a higher value category. Now here is something many people overlook. The 1986 Kennedy half dollar was not widely used in everyday transactions. By the 1980s, half dollars were already becoming uncommon in daily circulation. This means that many coins were stored away, often in rolls or mint sets. While this increases the number of uncirculated examples, it also means that finding truly exceptional pieces still requires careful searching. Collectors often obtain these coins from original bank rolls or government-issued mint sets. Coins that have remained untouched for decades can still exhibit pristine surfaces, but even then, only a small percentage will meet the highest grading standards. Professional grading services evaluate coins on a scale, and achieving a top grade can make a huge difference in value. Now let's talk about what collectors really want. They are looking for coins that combine rarity, condition, and visual appeal. A standard circulated 1986 D Kennedy half dollar might only be worth its face value. But when you step into the world of uncirculated coins, especially those in high grades, the value begins to climb. And if you add an error or a unique characteristic into the mix, the coin becomes even more desirable. This is where the excitement begins. Imagine searching through a roll of coins and discovering one with a clear minting error or exceptional quality. That moment is what keeps collectors coming back again and again. There is also a historical connection that adds emotional value. Every Kennedy half dollar carries the legacy of a president whose impact is still remembered today. Holding the coin feels like holding a piece of history, and that alone makes it special to many collectors. Now let's get to the part everyone is waiting for, the real market value and auction potential of the 1986 D Kennedy half dollar. In circulated condition, this coin is generally worth face value, meaning 50 cents. In uncirculated condition, typical examples can sell for a few dollars depending on quality. However, coins in high mint state grades can reach significantly higher prices. Exceptional examples with strong luster and sharp strikes have been known to sell for around $20 to $50. And in rare cases, top-graded specimens can achieve auction prices of $100 or more. If the coin features a notable mint error or an unusual variety, the value can increase dramatically depending on the rarity and demand among collectors. Some error coins have sold for several $100s when verified and graded. So the next time you come across a Kennedy half dollar, especially one from 1986 with a D mint mark, take a closer look. What seems ordinary could be hiding something extraordinary. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight. Keep searching, keep learning, and most importantly, enjoy the journey because every coin has a story, and you never know when you might discover one worth far more than you ever expected. Top 3. We are diving into something that most people have probably held in their hands without even realizing its hidden potential. A coin that might look ordinary at first glance, but for collectors and sharp-eyed treasure hunters, it can turn into something truly exciting. We are talking about the 1998 P Kennedy half dollar, a coin from the United States that quietly circulates in collections and coin jars, yet holds layers of rarity, detail, and in some cases, surprising value. Now imagine this for a moment. You're going through an old drawer, maybe a jar of coins collected over the years, and you spot a Kennedy half dollar. It looks clean, maybe slightly worn, nothing unusual. But what if I told you that under the right conditions, with the right characteristics, that simple coin could be worth far more than its face value? That is exactly why collectors pay close attention to coins like the 1998 p. Let's start with the basics so everyone watching can follow along and truly understand why this coin matters. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, shortly after President John F. Kennedy's assassination. It quickly became one of the most iconic coins in American history. By 1998, these coins were no longer widely used in everyday transactions, which already adds a layer of scarcity in circulation. The 1998 p. Kennedy half-dollar was minted in Philadelphia, indicated by the small letter P on the coin. While millions were produced, most of them went straight into collector sets or were stored away. This means that high-quality examples are more common than heavily circulated ones, but that doesn't mean all of them are valuable. The real magic lies in condition, rarity, and errors. Let's talk about condition first, because this is where things start to get interesting. Coins are graded on a scale, and the highest grades are referred to as mint state. A 1998 p. Kennedy half-dollar in average circulated condition is usually only worth its face value. But when you move into higher grades, especially coins that are nearly perfect, the value begins to rise. Collectors look for coins with sharp details, strong luster, and no visible marks. These are coins that look almost as if they were just minted yesterday. When a 1998 p. Kennedy half-dollar reaches top-tier grades, it becomes much more desirable, especially for those building complete high-grade sets, but condition alone is not the only factor. One of the biggest drivers of value in modern coins like this is the presence of errors. Errors are what turn an ordinary coin into something collectors actively hunt for. And yes, even the 1998 p. Kennedy half-dollar has its share of fascinating errors. One type of error to look for is the double die. This happens when the coin is struck with a misaligned die, causing certain features like the lettering or date to appear doubled. It can be subtle, so collectors often use magnification to inspect coins carefully. A noticeable double die can significantly increase the value. Another error that collectors love is off-center strikes. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during minting, resulting in part of the design missing. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more appealing it becomes to collectors. Then there are planchet errors. These happen before the coin is even struck. Sometimes the metal blank is flawed, clipped, or improperly prepared. When such a blank is struck, it creates a coin with unusual shapes or missing sections. These types of coins are highly collectible because each one is unique. You should also keep an eye out for die cracks and cuds. These are raised lines or blobs on the coin caused by damage to the die used in minting. While they might look like imperfections, they are actually considered collectible features by many enthusiasts. Now here's something that makes the 1998 p. Kennedy half-dollar even more interesting. While it was produced in large numbers, finding one in perfect condition without any marks is surprisingly difficult. Modern coins are often stored in bulk, which leads to small scratches and contact marks. That means truly flawless examples are rare, and rarity always drives demand. Collectors who specialize in Kennedy half-dollars often compete for the highest graded coins. These coins are certified by professional grading services and sealed in protective holders. Once a coin reaches the top of the grading scale, it becomes a standout piece in any collection. Let's also talk about the emotional side of collecting, because this is what makes coins like this so fascinating. It's not just about money. It's about the thrill of discovery. The idea that something so small and common could hold hidden value keeps collectors searching, examining, and learning. Imagine sitting down with a magnifying glass, carefully inspecting each detail of your coin. The portrait of Kennedy, the lettering, the edge, every tiny feature could hold a clue. That moment when you realize you might have found something special is what keeps collectors hooked. And here's the best part. You don't need to be an expert to start. Anyone can look for these coins. Anyone can learn what to watch for. And anyone can experience that excitement of finding a rare or valuable piece. Now let's bring everything together and talk about what this coin is actually worth in today's market. A regular 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar in circulated condition is typically worth face value, which is 50 cents. Uncirculated examples in decent condition can sell for a few dollars, depending on their quality. High-grade certified coins can reach values in the range of $20 to over $100, especially for those in near-perfect condition. Coins with notable errors can be worth significantly more, depending on the type and visibility of the error. And when it comes to top-tier auction results, exceptional examples of the 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar in the highest grades have reached prices of several $100s, with rare error coins sometimes pushing even higher depending on collector demand. So the next time you come across a Kennedy half-dollar, don't just pass it by. Take a closer look. Because hidden within that small piece of metal could be a story, a rarity, and possibly a valuable collectible waiting to be discovered. Top 4. We are diving into a fascinating journey through one of the most talked about modern collectible coins in the United States, a coin that at first glance looks ordinary, something you might have even spent without a second thought, but for collectors and sharp-eyed treasure hunters it holds a story filled with rarity, hidden value, and surprising demand. This is the Washington State $quarter connected to the Arkansas release, minted in the era between 1836 and 2003 under the Philadelphia Mint Mark P, and what makes this coin truly captivating is not just its design, but the subtle variations and rare errors that can turn a simple 25-cent piece into something worth far more than its face value. Now imagine holding a coin that millions of people have seen, yet only a handful truly understand. The Washington Quarter series itself carries a deep historical legacy, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate George Washington, and over time it evolved into the famous 50-state quarters program that ran from 1999 to 2008. Arkansas, known as the natural state, was honored in 2003, and its quarter features imagery that reflects its natural beauty, including a diamond and a mallard duck, symbols tied closely to the state's identity. At first glance, the Arkansas quarter seems like just another piece of pocket change. But collectors know better. The Philadelphia Mint-marked coins, especially those from 2003, are widely circulated, yet within that large production there exist subtle differences that can dramatically affect value. These differences are often tied to minting errors, die variations, and condition grades that only trained eyes can easily recognize. Let's talk about rarity. Rarity in coins does not always mean low mintage. Sometimes it means low survival in perfect condition, or the existence of unusual minting mistakes. For the 2003 P. Arkansas quarter, certain coins exhibit die cracks, off-center strikes, or doubling in the design elements. These errors occur during the minting process when machinery misaligns or when dies become worn or damaged. While most coins are caught and removed, a few escape into circulation, and those are the ones collectors hunt for. One of the most intriguing aspects is doubling, especially in the lettering or the details of the state design. When you look closely at some Arkansas quarters, you might notice a slight shadow effect on the inscriptions or the edges of the imagery. This doubling is not always obvious, but under magnification it becomes clear and can significantly increase the coin's desirability. Another factor is condition. Coins are graded on a scale, and even a common coin can become valuable if it is preserved in near-perfect condition. A coin that has never been circulated, with sharp details, no scratches, and original mint luster, can command a much higher price than one that has been heavily used. Collectors refer to these as uncirculated or mint state coins, and they are graded with precision, often by professional grading services. Now let's explore the historical timeline mentioned, from 1836 to 2003. While the Arkansas quarter itself belongs to the modern era, the reference to 1836 connects to the year Arkansas became a state. This historical link adds depth and meaning to the coin, making it more than just currency. It becomes a miniature piece of history, something that ties together past and present in a tangible form. What truly excites collectors is the possibility of discovering a rare error coin in everyday change. Imagine going through your coins and suddenly spotting something unusual, a slight misalignment, an extra line, or a detail that doesn't quite match standard examples. That moment of discovery is what drives many enthusiasts to keep searching. The market for these coins is dynamic. Values can fluctuate based on demand, rarity, and the overall condition of the coin. Online auctions, coin shows, and collector communities all play a role in determining what a particular coin might be worth at any given time. Some Arkansas quarters have sold for modest premiums, while others, particularly those with significant errors or exceptional grading, have reached much higher prices. It's also important to understand that not every coin with a minor imperfection is valuable. True collectible errors are those that are clearly distinguishable, authenticated, and recognized by the collecting community. This is why education and careful examination are key. A magnifying glass, good lighting, and a bit of patience can reveal details that might otherwise go unnoticed. For those new to coin collecting, the Arkansas quarter offers a perfect starting point. It's accessible, widely available, and yet full of potential surprises. For seasoned collectors, it represents another chapter in the ongoing pursuit of rare and unique pieces. As you continue your journey into the world of coin collecting, remember that every coin has a story. Some stories are obvious, printed clearly on the surface, while others are hidden in tiny details, waiting to be discovered. The Washington State Quarter for Arkansas is one of those coins that invites you to look closer, to question what you see, and to appreciate the artistry and complexity behind something so small. And now, the moment many of you have been waiting for, the real market perspective. In circulated condition, a standard 2003 P Arkansas quarter is typically worth its face value of 25 cents. However, in uncirculated mint state condition, it can range from $1 to $5 depending on quality. Coins with notable mint errors or high-grade certification have been known to reach auction values from $50 up to several $100s, and in rare exceptional cases, particularly with dramatic errors and top grading, values can exceed $1,000. So the next time you come across a quarter, take a closer look. What seems ordinary might just be extraordinary. Top 5. We are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern coins in United States history, the 2012 P.L. Younk Washington State Quarter. This is not just another pocket change coin. For some collectors, this tiny piece of metal has turned into a serious treasure. So stay with me, because what you're about to learn might completely change the way you look at the coins in your wallet. The 2012 L. Younk Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that celebrates national parks and sites across the United States. L. Younk represents the lush tropical rainforest in Puerto Rico, a place filled with biodiversity, waterfalls, and natural beauty. The design itself is already captivating. You'll see a coqui tree frog sitting on a leaf in the foreground, with a tower rising in the background surrounded by dense forest. It's one of the most artistic and nature-inspired designs in the entire series. Now here's where things start getting interesting. The version we're focusing on today is the Philadelphia Mint version, marked with a small P mint mark. Millions of these coins were produced. At first glance, that might make you think this coin is common and not worth much. But in the world of coin collecting, rarity is not always about how many were made, it's about how many survive in exceptional condition, and more importantly, how many have unique errors or striking anomalies. Let's talk about condition first. A typical circulated 2012 P.L. Younk quarter, the kind you might find in your change, is usually only worth its face value. But once you move into uncirculated grades, things begin to shift. Coins graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services start to carry a premium. These coins have sharp details, no visible wear, and strong luster, but the real excitement begins when we talk about near-perfect and perfect examples. Coins graded MS67 or MS68 are incredibly difficult to find. These are coins that look almost flawless even under magnification. For a modern circulating coin, reaching this level of preservation is rare, and collectors are willing to pay serious money for that level of perfection. Now let's go even deeper, into the world of errors. Error coins are where collectors' hearts start racing. These are coins that were struck incorrectly during the minting process, and each type of error tells a story about what went wrong inside the mint. One of the most sought-after errors in the 2012 P.L. Younk quarter is the double die error. This happens when the coin's design is imprinted twice, slightly offset, creating a visible doubling effect on letters, numbers, or design elements. If you look closely at the inscriptions or the frog design and notice unusual doubling, you could be holding something very special. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike. Imagine the coin being struck slightly misaligned, leaving part of the design missing while the rest is shifted. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin can become, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Then there are die cracks and die chips. These might sound like flaws, but to collectors, they can be highly desirable. A die crack appears as a raised line across the coin's surface, caused by a crack in the minting die. A die chip might show up as a small blob or extra metal in unexpected places. Unique and well-defined examples of these errors can significantly increase a coin's value, and we cannot forget about struck-through errors. This occurs when a foreign object, like grease or debris, gets between the die and the coin during striking. The result is a missing or distorted portion of the design. These errors are unpredictable, making each one unique. Now imagine combining a high-grade coin with a rare error. That's where things become truly extraordinary. Collectors are constantly searching for coins that stand out. A 2012 PL Young quarter with a rare error, preserved in near-perfect condition, can turn from a simple 25-cent coin into a prized collectible. But why does this coin attract so much attention compared to others in the series? Part of it is the design. The L. Young quarter is widely considered one of the most beautiful in the America the Beautiful series. Its detailed depiction of wildlife and nature makes it visually appealing, even to people who are not serious collectors. Another reason is the challenge. Finding high-grade modern coins in circulation is not easy. Most coins get scratched, worn, and damaged quickly. So when a pristine example surfaces, it immediately catches the attention of collectors, and then there's the thrill of the hunt. Think about it. Somewhere out there, in circulation right now, there could still be undiscovered error coins. Coins that people have overlooked, spent without a second thought, or tucked away in jars and drawers. The idea that you could find something valuable in everyday change is what makes coin collecting so exciting. So what should you do if you come across a 2012 PL Young quarter? First, examine it carefully. Look at the details of the frog, the leaves, the lettering, and the edges. Use a magnifying glass if possible. Check for any signs of doubling, unusual marks, or misalignment. Second, consider the condition. Does the coin still have its original shine? Are the details sharp and crisp? The better the condition, the higher the potential value. Third, if you believe you found something special, consider having it graded by a professional service. Authentication and grading can significantly increase the coin's marketability and value. Now let's talk about what everyone really wants to know: the value. A standard circulated 2012 PL Young quarter is worth face value. Uncirculated examples can range from a few dollars to around $10 depending on quality. High-grade coins in MS-67 condition have sold for around $50 to $100, but when you step into the realm of top-tier grades like MS-68, values can climb to several $100s. Error coins tell a completely different story. Depending on the type and severity of the error, these coins can sell for anywhere from $100 to several $1,000s. And in rare auction cases, exceptional error coins or nearly perfect specimens have reached values of several $1,000s, with some high-end examples approaching $5,000 in competitive bidding environments. So the next time you receive change, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. Because hidden among ordinary coins, there might be an extraordinary story waiting to be discovered, and maybe even a small fortune.